My family is from Ipoh originally. So both my parents, my father and my mother, were from Ipoh. And I guess the closest memory I have to Ipoh was the 5 years I spent growing up here with my grandmother. In my mind, my grandmother's steamed chicken was the best. So in that sense, a lot of it was her home cooking, whether it was her kaya, her steamed chicken, or her soups. The reason why we decided to open here in Ipoh, I think it starts off from a sentimental perspective, the fact that I grew up here. So Ipoh meant a lot to me, and I think the opportunity to kind of do something here was what stirred the excitement. It was really over 1 week with hardly much feasibility study. So I think it was really led by the heart more than anything else. You know, the sheer fact that this spot, to me, an iconic location right next to my two favorite coffee shops. I read it as it's all the signs that it's time to open here in Ipoh. It feels as if things have not changed one bit here. It's still the same people manning the stores, it's still the same satay uncle. It really feels as if you step back 20 years in time, and that's one of the beauty of this place, is that it's kind of preserved its natural charm and nostalgia, and that's something that's really quite precious, I reckon. When I was growing up here, white coffee itself wasn't a very fancy product, nor was it in trend yet. It was more the social aspect of the kopitiams. We're working towards opening our own coffee roaster where we could create our own blends. You know how you can finish a whole cup of drink without realizing that you finished it because it's that good? When it goes down smooth and it hits the right spot without being too bitter and without being too hot. That would be my perfect cup of cafe latte. The coffee shop's formula works fine as it is. You know, we are basically providing an alternative cafe lifestyle. And the idea was to create an environment where we would sit side by side and blend right in. I want it to feel neighborhoodish, where, you know, in smaller towns where people still celebrate with their neighbors, with that local community, something we don't get very much in Kuala Lumpur nowadays. And I think if we can kind of learn how that is done here in Ipoh, you know, perhaps we could try and incorporate a little bit of that culture to KL. But we really genuinely want to make people feel that they've kind of found this space and it's theirs, and it's just a place for them to kick back, relax, and take a breather. Satisfaction, hope, hope's love is all we have. It really has a very slow pace of life, which is quite magical. But of course, if you look around, it's changed tremendously. I mean, you look at all these little artisan shops that's popping up, and of course the celebration of street art and so on and so forth. I think that kind of encapsulates how Ipoh is progressing, that it's no longer just a transit town, it is becoming a destination. Opening restaurants is the easiest part of the business. Maintaining them, the hardest part. It doesn't allow you to rest on your laurels. You are always continuously trying to evolve. And essentially, I think if I want to summarize it, it keeps you on your toes. And that's important. Be brave in what you do. Be prepared in a sense that it's a long road ahead. It's hard work. But more than anything else, be committed. Be committed to what you set out to do, and then make sure you follow through with that vision.